I'm going to take this electric cover off the back. Got the screws loose, and I just got to pop this cap that's sticking a little bit. Get that loose off of there. And now I have a little bit of access to spray in here. This is a sensitive area. There's a centrifugal weight in here, and I have to turn this motor by hand without taking it completely apart if I can get away with it. And so I got access to this. I'm going to spray that with some WD-40. I can't hammer on anything here, but inside here there's cooling fins that draw air through the motor, and I can tap on them lightly. I got to be careful. They're aluminum fins and they will break off and throw the thing out of balance. Hopefully that won't happen. If it does, then I'll have to very carefully break another one off on the opposite end to balance it at the same amount, same size, and I hope we're not going to get into that. I'm not going to hit it that hard where it'll break anything off. It'd have to be already cracked before that would happen. I'm going to let that soak for a few minutes, and I'm going to spray some in here on this end. It's hard to see. I'm going to let that soak for a little bit. I'm using a 1/4 inch extension to put on these cooling fins in here very carefully. I don't want to use a screwdriver because that's just too sharp. It'll cut into it. The blunt end of the extension will work. When I hit this fin and the motor turns, this centrifugal weight back here will turn, so I can watch it and see it turning back there. I'm going to do that and spray some more oil on it, and I'm going to keep turning it until it starts to turn freely by hand. And then I'll power up the motor. I'll plug it into 220 and power it up and spray some oil on it real good, start it and stop it a few times, put it back together. That WD-40 did the trick. This rotor is loose now and it spins pretty freely, and I'm not satisfied with just WD-40 on it because WD-40 dries up pretty quick. So I'm going to spray some white lithium grease on that where I sprayed the WD-40 on this on the shaft where the bearing is, and hopefully it will soak in there. Hopefully the WD-40 will help draw it in there. I'm going to let that soak for a while, hour or so, and then I'll spray it some more. It seems to be spinning a little quieter than it was. This is a pretty cheap motor. I think the bearings are not going to be the best quality. It'll work, but this is better than having to take the thing completely apart and replace the bearings. Time to put it back together.